Well, as they say, it is a very fine line between fit and absolutely. And for most of 2025, I've been on the right side of that. I've been feeling good, had some solid results, good training blocks, pretty uninterrupted. Only a couple little niggles here and there, but unfortunately, a week ago, an MRI confirmed that I have my first injury of 2025. An early stage grade 1 stress reaction in my left femoral shaft. So huge bummer. That is why I'm on a 5-hour mountain bike ride right now in 100 degrees instead of at 70.3 Louisville. So yeah, I wasn't sure if I was gonna make this public. The reason is really just because it could be a distraction to have attention on injuries. And it can also be a bit embarrassing. You think, oh, what could my coach and I have done differently? We should have avoided this. And 3, you're kind of opening yourself up to other people's opinions. And, I have the opinions of the people I want and need. Me, my coach, my wife, my doctors, my physical therapists, the whole team around me. And you got to kind of keep your bubble a little bit small when you get injured. And so anyway, here's the silver lining. I caught it super early, and I have enough experience now with these things to know when to shut it down. And when I was in Tahoe at altitude after 70.3 Boise, hang on a second, I'm climbing and I got to cross the street now. Okay, so yeah, I made the podium at 70.3 Boise. It was an amazing race. I went into it a little bit overcooked, a little bit tired, didn't have very good bike legs on the day, and I thought, that's weird, I'm so fit. Like, my numbers in training had been good, but they started to kind of go down into the race. And sometimes that's a sign that, yeah, you just trained a little too hard and weren't quite recovering. And that's also part of the sport at this level. It's like, man, if you want to try to get to the next level and win races, not just, be a really good amateur and make the podium at Kona and win 70.3 Worlds. Like, I've done that stuff. Well, I haven't won 70.3 Worlds as an amateur, but you get the idea, right? I've won, I think, 6 amateur races and then turned pro. And I think I'm one of the highest ranked triathletes in the world with a job. And that adds stress, but you don't want to say it out loud because you don't want to manifest that and make excuses for why you get injured. But yeah, anyway, my thoughts are clearly pretty scattered on this one. It's only been a week, but I like to think of myself as a pretty transparent athlete. It's not like I have such a big following that it becomes super stressful. Like, hey, if Lionel can talk about his injury publicly, of course I can. But at the same time, yeah, you just want to tuck your head, tuck your tail between your legs and kind of be sad about it. So it's tough to swallow because it's just another setback, and it's frustrating because the running was just starting to get really good and feeling like I could break through. But this one feels more like a speed bump rather than a big reversal. And that's because, based on the imaging and my physical therapy tests and the fact that I literally ran one time in pain before this injury, or before shutting it down and pulling the plug on Louisville and flying home from Tahoe. It just shows like the maturity I've had now as an athlete. I have now as an athlete, having already gone through this twice. And it probably could have saved the rest of my season. So my goal now is to really shut it down. I'm going to be pretty quiet on social media, just to put the focus where I think it has to be, which is on recovery and training and optimizing and low stress and my job and being a groomsman and my friend's wedding in a couple weeks. So there's a lot going on in my life. And I've always been someone that believes I can do it all, right? I can be a successful, VP in the Silicon Valley tech world. And I could be one of the best Ironman triathletes in the world and a great husband and a father. And sometimes you fall short in certain aspects of life. And I don't like to admit it or say it out loud, but that's how it goes. And there's a lot of North American pros that are injured right now. It ain't just me. A lot of them with much worse injuries. And so I take a little bit of like, okay, maybe it's not normal to break your bone from training so hard, but the level has gotten so high that people are pushing the limits to get to the next level. And that's just part of it these days. So it's been a year since any kind of little setback, and hopefully this one's 2 or 3 weeks instead of 2 or 3 months. And hopefully it's a big testament to just the fact that I shut it down and did the smart thing when I felt pain. So anyway, I really appreciate everyone who's in my corner and has been following the journey this year or previous years. I'm not going to do like a big injury series on this one. I don't have the time or the mental capacity, frankly, or the injury or the interest to put all this, look at me and how injured I am out there. I don't want to be injured. I'm on a 5-hour mountain bike ride today and I feel good. And talking to my doctor and PT, I'll be swimming 25, 30K next week and riding 12 to 15 hours. And then we're going to get back on the lever and then try to get to the start line in Santa Cruz in 3 weeks and go make a podium. So I am being really optimistic and confident and putting on a few pounds. And yeah, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. And we'll check in soon. Peace.